Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a moment to become present. Find a nice, comfortable seated position where you can sit with your spine and back of your neck nice and tall and straight, opening up your chest, opening up your diaphragm, and opening up your heart. Gently close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. Soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention I'd like to talk about is yoga. So in context, recently on the local news, and I just caught a tidbit of it, but I heard that UVM Medical School was going to add yoga to its curriculum. I think they're going to offer integrated health curriculum, and yoga was going to be a part of it, which caught my attention. They did not elaborate. But it's not the first time I've heard Western medicine embracing Eastern medicine. A while ago, a friend of mine was experiencing a lot of mysterious illnesses. And she went through a series of tests and x-rays and medications, and nothing seemed really to help. Then, seemingly months down the road, after all these tests and medications and stuff, the doctor told her to try yoga. And I'm like, that's an interesting comment. Exactly what part of yoga was that doctor recommending? And what part did that doctor think would help? So the deeper I dive into the world of yoga, I realize what a vast subject it really is. There are 6 schools of yoga. There's Raja, Jnana, Tantra, Bhakti, Karma, and Hatha. And Hatha is the one that we are most familiar with. And I think that's what the doctor, that school would have recommended. The other ones deal with a lot of head stuff, cerebral stuff. And so Hatha is Ha meaning sun and Ta meaning moon. It's the balancing of the energies of the hot sun and the cool moon within us. And this school, Hatha, actually has many styles that you may have heard of over the years. Vinyasa, yin yoga, which we've done, Kundalini, Ashtanga, Iyengar, Bikram, which is the hot yoga. And then there is a style called Hatha, which is what we do. And yoga and its sister, Ayurveda, are both considered sciences of the self. So we all have our personal journey that led us to and keeps us returning to our mat. Initially, we may not have intended to cure anything or been there on doctor's advice, but maybe something was cured or helped along the way by doing your yoga. So for this morning's pranayama, I'd like to, for us to practice the classic yoga breath. It's the soundtrack of our yoga practice, what I call it. It's the Ujjayi breath or ocean breath. And it's creates the ocean sound by breathing in and out through the back of your throat, kind of sounding like the ocean waves coming in and out. And it has that sound, so you can really tune into what your body's up to, if it's straining too much or if it's in good balance. You know, we want to be in balance. Again, that's what Hatha is about. It's what Ayurveda is about. It's what yoga is about. So let's just practice that Ujjayi breath. And the way to experience it is kind of think about Darth Vader and Darth Vader's voice. On the exhale, often it's taught with you having your hand in front of your face and breathing into the hand like you're trying to fog up a mirror. So you're, but then you do it with your mouth closed. And try to get it down into your throat, not up into your nose, your sinuses. And then on the inhale, it's that real Darth Vader. And then try to do that with your mouth closed. So putting them together, just and I think the more you do that, and certainly doing it during our practice, it'll almost become reflex that when you're doing yoga, you'll start to breathe in this manner to really, again, tune into where your body is at, you know, how it's feeling at the moment. So for our meditation this morning, let's just slowly practice that Ujjayi breath. And they say about the Ujjayi breath, it's the more stabilizing the breath, the more stabilizing your mind. So with it being gentle and smooth, Ujjayi also lowers your heart rate or slows it down. It improves your mood and it boosts your immune system. So has other benefits besides it being the soundtrack of your yoga. So let's just practice that for a short period while we meditate. You can use your favorite mudra. This is the Gyan, which is the traditional mudra. This is about concentration. You can use that one. Just gently place your hands on your knees. Just be comfortable and take a few moments of silence and practice your Ujjayi breath. You may open your eyes now and we'll start our asana practice. I'm seated on a folded towel here just to boost my seat up, lower my knees so that they're level with my crease here. And that's also going to help me to straighten my spine, open my diaphragm up. Let's begin with our fingertips alongside of us and take some nice deep inhales and exhales, doing sun breath. So inhale and exhale. And again, if you just automatically trigger that Ujjayi breath, we'll bring our arms up overhead with a big inhale and then twist over to the left side, bringing our hands down. Right hand lands on our left knee. Left hand lands right behind our hips. And then inhale, sweeping up. Sweep over to the right side. Exhale, bringing both hands down. Left hand on your knee. Right hand behind your hips. And then inhale, sweeping up again. Sweep over to the left side. Exhale, coming down. Then inhale, sweep up. And exhale, bring your hands down. Inhale, sweep up. Twisting over to the left. Exhale, come down. And one last time to the right. Big inhale up. And big inhale, exhale rather, coming down. And then return to the center. We'll do some seated side stretches. So we can bring your fingertips to the sides. And we're going to lift our left arm up so it's close to our ear. Back is nice and straight and tall. And I'm going to take our elbow, our right elbow, and then bring it down toward the mat as we tip over, making a nice crescent shape with our upper body. Side stretch over to the right. Inhale and bringing your arm back up. We'll do that on the other side. Bring your left fingertips to the mat. Bring your right arm up so it's alongside your ear. And bend your left elbow down toward the mat and create a crescent shape to the left. Your gaze can be sent out ahead. Inhale, come back up, and we'll do that 2 more times, one on each side. So right fingertips down, left arm comes up, bending your right elbow down toward the mat, crescent shape to the right. And then inhale, come back up. Bring left fingertips, come back up one last time. Right arm up, left elbow comes down toward the mat. And then inhale, come back up. If I lose my train of thought, like I'm thinking ahead, then it's all over. This really has to center me in being present. Otherwise I kind of like, where am I? Alrighty, so now we're gonna take our right leg and extend it out at a diagonal, keeping our left foot touching our right thigh and kind of snug in where it was. So with the right leg extended out at a diagonal, we're gonna take our right hand, back of our hand, place it against our knee, send our left arm up, and we're gonna do a revolve seated head to knee. So we're gonna actually slide our right hand down toward our foot and creating a deeper crescent shape. And you can bring your gaze down toward your knee. And then inhale, come back up. And relax both arms. Make sure your spine's nice and tall. We'll just do that one more time. So back of your right hand against your knee, left arm goes up, and then slide your right hand down toward your foot. Sending your gaze out or down toward your knee. Then inhale, come back up. Relax your arms. We're going to bring that right leg in front of us and bring the left foot down onto the mat so the knee's pointing up to the sky. And then we're going to flip our left foot over our right leg so it's landing on the outer side of our right knee. And then wrap your arm around your left knee, bring your left hand behind your hips, and just slowly twist to the left. Take a few deep inhales here and exhales. And then come back to center. Then we're going to come back into a cross-legged position. And this time we're going to have the left foot in front of our right foot. Or actually, we can extend our left leg out since we already did the side stretches over to the left. Extend our left leg out at a diagonal. The right foot stays in, foot close to the or touching the left thigh. And then we take our back of our left hand against the inner part of our left knee, bring our right arm up and slide our left hand down toward our left foot. And then inhale, come back up. Relax our arms for a moment. Back is nice and straight and tall. And then we'll try that again. Left hand against the left knee, right arm goes up. And sliding our left hand toward our foot. You can either gaze out front or gaze down toward your knee. And then inhale, come back up. And we're going to slide our left foot so that it comes to the center in front of us and bring our right foot down on the mat, knees pointing up toward the sky. Take your right foot, flip it over to the outer edge of your left knee. And then wrap your right or your left arm around your right knee, bringing your right hand behind you. And taking a few deep breaths, gazing to the right. And then come back to center. And we'll come up on to tabletop onto our hands and knees. So with tabletop, our knees are right below our hips. Wrists are right below our shoulders. Fingers spread out. Index finger pointing to the top of the mat. Weight is evenly distributed in your hands and in your knees. Navel's tucked to your spine, create a nice flat back. And then we're going to do some cat-cows, and this would be a great place also to do your Ujjayi breath. So exhale rather, rounding your back, dropping your tailbone and head down for cat, excuse me. And then inhale, lifting your head and tailbone up for cow. Exhale, rounding your back for cat. Inhale, lifting your head and tailbone up for cow. And just continue at your own pace. Big inhales, big exhales. Using the Ujjayi breath, really tune into that breath. And let's meet back at a neutral spine. We're going to kickstand our left leg out off the mat and send our right foot down to the bottom of the mat. Our left wrist will be right under our left shoulder, and we sweep our right hand all the way up to the sky, following your hand with your gaze. And then we're going to drop our right hand over our head. So it's going to send a nice energy stream from your toes on up to your fingertips in a straight line. Keep our gaze straight ahead. And then we're going to inhale, bring our right hand up, lifting ourselves up and coming into gate pose. So you're on your knee, your right leg still out, sending your right hand down to your right leg and lifting your left arm up, and then creating a crescent shape with your body to the right for gate pose. Then we'll bring our left hand back down. This is a modified side plank. Send our right hand up and over to the front and over our head. So create that nice straight line of energy. Then inhale, come back up to gate pose. Bringing our right hand down, lifting our left arm up and over so it forms a crescent shape. And one last time, bring our left arm down, sending the right hand up and over to the front of the mat, top of the mat. And then up into gate pose. And then we'll come back to tabletop. And then we'll do that on the other side. So we're going to kickstand our right foot out, send our left foot down to the bottom. Make sure our wrist is right below our shoulder on our right hand. Then sweep our left hand up and overhead, following our hand with our gaze. And then send that left fingertip to the front of the mat, to the top of the mat, creating that nice straight line of energy. And then inhale, lifting up, coming up onto our knee, placing our left hand on our left leg, bringing the right arm up and over, forming a crescent shape. And then inhale, come back, bringing our right hand down, left arm overhead, nice sweeping move, pointing our fingertips and our toes, creating that nice line of energy. And then inhale, come back up again. Right arm comes over, sweeps over, crescent shape. And then come back down. Sweeping our left hand over and to the top of the mat. Nice smooth movements. And then one last time. Inhale, come back up to gate pose. Sweeping our hands up and over. And then back down to tabletop. We tuck our toes under and walk our hands back, coming into a squat. And then push down into the tops of our feet to come up into mountain pose. So the mountain essentials, we'll lift our toes up and off the mat, spreading our toes as far apart as we can, bringing them back down, lifting our heels up off the mat, and then bringing them back down to really connect with the mat, really root into the earth. Our knees are straight and strong, soft, gentle bend in your knees. Navel's tucked to your spine, creating a nice long spine and back of your neck. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Top of your head, the crown of your head reaches up toward the sky. Chin is tucked just slightly in toward your chest. The essentials of good posture. Then we'll sweep our hands up overhead. Big inhale and exhale, bending our knees deeply or bring our hands down to the mat, down to the floor. And just check in for a moment. See how everything's doing. Then inhale, bring our hands up to our shins, flattening out our back, nice straight back, gaze sent down for half forward fold. And then drop the crown down for forward fold. Hands, fingertips come back down to the mat. Then inhale, sweeping our hands up, keeping your knees bent to support your back. Come all the way up. Bringing your hands up overhead, come up onto your tippy toes for palm tree, and we'll just sway here for a moment. Connect with our balance a little bit. And bring our heels down, bring our hands back down, sweeping them as we exhale all the way back to the floor. Inhale, bring our hands up to our shins, flattening out our back, half forward fold. And exhale, dropping the crown of our head down toward the ground. Then inhale, sweeping our hands up and over our head. Bringing our palms together and then our palms to heart center. We're going to extend our hands out in front of us at shoulder height. And what we do is do some steps. I'll turn to the side so I can show you what I mean. We're going to kind of bend at the knees and then step one of the foot, like the right foot back, so your toes and the ball of your foot lands. It's almost that same feeling as when you get into the squat position. The toes and the ball of the foot are on the mat. And then we're bringing that foot back, and bend our knees again, and bring the opposite foot back for step backs. So we're gonna inhale and just step back. Continue that for a few moments. And if you like, you can move your hands down, up and down, create a nice flow. And yes, this is the same exercise we do in the winter to practice for cross-country skiing. Maybe that will just think about it and cool us off this summer. And then we'll come back to neutral. Sweep our hands up and overhead again. Exhale, come back down. Bring your hands all the way down to the mat, bending our knees. Inhale, bring our hands to our shins, half forward fold. Take a couple deep breaths here. And then drop the crown of your head down toward the ground. Inhale, sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Bring our palms together and bring our palms to heart center. We'll do a couple of tree poses. So starting with our left foot grounded or rooted into the mat, we're gonna lift our right knee up rather. Then you can keep your left hand at heart center. Take your right knee with your right hand and just open it to the side. Get your balance. Then either you can bring it to the mat, your heel touching your left ankle, or bring it to your shin or you can bring it up to your thigh. It's not working this morning for me. That's okay. Some days it works, some days it doesn't. I think it's all where your head's at. Okay, we're gonna stop the left side. And sweep your hands up overhead again. Arms or palms come together, palms come to heart center. Really root your right foot into the mat and lift your left leg up. And keeping your right hand at heart center, take your left hand onto your left knee and open it over to the side. And again, you can bring it down so your ankles touching your heels touching your ankle, or to your shin, or to your thigh. Really hone in on my drishti now. Alrighty, and bring that down. And sweep our hands up overhead again. One more time, up, and then forward fold, bending your knees, bring your hands to the floor. Inhale, bring our hands up, halfway up, flattening out our back. And exhale, bringing the crown of our head down toward the mat. And inhale, sweeping our hands up and overhead, bringing our palms together, palms to heart center, and then palms to the back of our hips. For a supported back bend. Our feet are about hip width apart. Navel's tucked to our spine, our shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Chin is tucked to our chest, and just let our shoulders drop back. Again, trying your Ujjayi breath. Just gauge where the breath is nice and stable and where it might be a little bit shallow, and then adjust accordingly. And then inhale, come back up. Big sweep of our arms up overhead, big inhale. And exhale, bringing our hands down to the mat, bending our knees. Sending our feet back into downward dog. We'll pedal out here for a few moments. Fingers are nice and wide, index finger pointing to the top of the mat. Arms are nice and straight and strong. Chest is reaching toward our thighs. Hips are sent up to the sky. Knees are bent or pedaling, but not straight. And then with our left foot, we're gonna do a three-legged dog. So we're gonna lift that left foot all the way up behind us, keeping an even distribution of weight in our hands. And then we're gonna bring that left foot up between our hands. So bending your knee, slowly guide your left foot up between your hands. You may need to assist it there. Coming into runner's lunge, where our knee is right over our ankle. And our back foot, the back heel's pushing toward the back of the end of the mat. Then we're going to pivot our back foot down and push off our left foot, the front foot, and come up into warrior one. So keeping our knee bent over our ankle, back foot now is at an angle, the back edge of the foot is nice and snug into the mat. We can lift our arms up overhead, facing the top corner of your mat. Create a little bit of a back bend for warrior one. Warrior one often is that you're twisted toward the front, and you could do that too, but I think this is a gentler version of it. You really need to adjust your back foot to come out a little toward the side of the mat if you're going to twist your hips toward the front. But if you keep your feet where they are, facing the corners, perfect. And then bring your hands back down, come back into runner's lunge, and then take your left foot, bring it to the back of the mat, coming into plank. Navel's tucked to the spine, wrists are right below your shoulders, heels are pushing to the back of the mat. And then come down to the mat, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, both keeping your elbows close to your ribs. We'll gently lift our hands off the mat for baby cobra. And then put the hands back down on the mat, right below your shoulders, keeping your elbows tucked to the side, gently push up. You're more pulling with your chest than pushing down with your hands. Coming into cobra, pelvis is still on the floor. And then keep pushing up into tabletop, and then down to child's pose with your arms fully extended out front. Come back up to tabletop, tuck your toes under, come back up to downward dog. Pedal out here for a few moments. And then three-legged dog, so lift your left leg up. Again, balancing, distributing your weight evenly in your front hands. And then bending your knee, guiding your left foot between your hands into runner's lunge. Runner's lunge again, your knees right over your ankle. And then we're going to pivot our back foot again. This time we're going to come up into warrior two. So sweep your arms up and over, bringing them out at shoulder height, the straight line. Front knee, again, just double check it's over your ankle. You can see your big toe over your knee. Back foot is nice and snug into the mat. Back is nice and straight and tall. Chest is open to the long side of the mat. And then gently, slowly turn your head to look at your left fingertips. And then drop your right hand down toward your thigh, lifting your left fingertips up to the sky, following your fingertips with your gaze for a reverse or peaceful warrior. And then bring your left forearm down to your left thigh, sweeping your right arm over and to the front of the mat, again, creating that nice strong line of energy from your toes to your fingertips. And then bring your right hand down, pivot your back foot, and then bring your left foot to the back of the mat, coming into plank. And we're going to lower to the mat, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. And then slide your hands out in front so that you're in a Superman position, Superwoman, if you will. And then we're gonna, with the forehead touch or chin touching the mat, Then lift the right leg up. Bring it back down. Lift the left leg up. Bring it back down. And then lift both legs and both arms off the mat. And bring those back down. And bring our fingertips right below our shoulders. Elbows tucked to our sides. Gently push down, coming up into cobra. And then up to tabletop and down to child's pose. Come back up to tabletop. Tuck our toes under, come back up to downward dog. And pedal out here for a few moments. And then slowly walk your feet up to your hands, coming into a forward fold. And then sweep your hands, bending your knees, supporting your lower back. Sweep your hands up and over. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. Then we're going to do warrior three. So our palms to center. We're going to take our right foot and just bending our left knee first, take our right foot and send it in back of us like we did earlier. Straighten out our backs, send our arms up to the sky. And then with that bent knee, the weight will be on your left foot, on the foot that's bent. We're going to pivot at the waist and lift the right foot up, coming into warrior three. And then bring that down. Excellent. Let's do it again on the other side. So inhale, sweeping our hands up, overhead, big inhale, exhale, coming down, forward fold, sending our feet back to downward dog. We'll pedal out here for a few moments. And then lift our right leg up for three-legged dog. Weights evenly distributed on our front hands. And then gently bending our right knee and guiding our right foot up between our hands. Coming into runner's lunge, where the knees right over our ankle. Back heel is pushing to the back of the mat. We'll pivot that back foot down and pushing off our front leg, come up to warrior one. And our knees bent over our ankle. Back legs nice and straight and strong. Back edge, the foot is in the mat. And then sweep our hands up and create a little bit of a back bend. Our chest is facing the upper left corner of the mat. And then bring our hands all the way back down to the mat, coming back into runner's lunge. Send that right foot back to meet the left foot and come into plank. Then keeping your elbows tucked to your side, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, lower down to the mat. We'll lift our hands up off the mat for baby cobra. And then put our hands back down below our shoulders and gently push, but mostly pulling up with our chest. Come into cobra. And then up to tabletop and down to child's pose. Keeping our arms stretched out in front of us. Coming back up to tabletop, tuck our toes under and come up into downward dog again. Pedal out here for a few moments. And then lift our right leg up for three-legged dog. And then bending at the knee, guiding your foot all the way up. Come back up into runner's lunge. And we'll pivot our back foot down and sweep our arms up and over, coming up into warrior two. Front leg is bent, so the knee's over the ankle. You can see your big toe. Back is nice and straight and tall. Navel's tucked to the spine. Chest is open to the long side of the mat. And then gently turn your head. Look at your right fingertips. And slowly lower your left hand down as you're raising your right hand up, coming into reverse warrior. And then bringing your right forearm down onto your right thigh, sweeping your left hand overhead up to the front of the mat, creating a nice line of energy. And then bringing your left hand all the way down to the mat, pivoting your foot, bringing your right foot to meet your back foot, coming into plank pose. Again, navel's tucked to the spine, elevating your hips slightly. And then slowly lowering to the mat, keeping your elbows tucked to the sides. And slide your hands out in front, coming into super person pose. Lift your right leg up and lower it back. Lift your left leg up and lower it back. And then lift both legs up and both arms up. And lower them back down. And bring your fingertips right below your shoulders. Elbows tucked to the side. Gently come up into cobra. And then inhale, come up to tabletop and down to child's pose. Child's pose. Then inhale, come back up to tabletop. Tuck your toes under and come up to downward dog. And pedal out here for a moment. And then slowly walk your feet up to your hands, coming into a forward fold. And then sweep your hands from the mat all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. Then we're going to keep our right foot planted and bending at both knees, Send your left leg back so that the ball and toes of the foot are on the mat. Then we're going to send our hands up to the sky, straightening our back. And then keeping the weight in our right leg, that will be supporting us, and keeping the knee bent. We pivot at the waist, lifting our left leg up and sending our arms down for warrior three. And then bring both feet back down to the mat. How's everybody doing? Great. Bring our pinky toes out to the edges of the mat, tucking our heels in at a 45-degree angle. We'll bring our hands to heart center. And bending our knees, we lower our torso down, sending our torso between our knees, bringing our elbows to our knees for wide-legged wide-legged squat. And then bring our hips, our seat back onto the mat. Come into staff pose. And you may or may not want to support it with a towel. But you can roll your fingers to little fists and push down into the mat, lifting your hips up and sending your hips back down the mat. Find those sit bones. And then we're going to bring our knees up, tucking our fingers underneath our knees. We're going to just lean back so our back stays nice and straight and long, and send our toes up so our bottom of our legs are parallel with the mat. We'll do some half boats here. And your navel's tucked to your spine, back is nice and long, straight. So touch your right foot down to the mat, bring it back up. Touch your left foot down, come back up, and touch both feet down and come back up. Try that again. Right foot comes down, taps the mat. Left foot comes down, taps the mat. Both feet come down, tap the mat, come back up. One last time. Right foot comes down, left foot comes down, and both feet come down. And let's just try one series if you want without having your hands tucked under your knees. So bring them alongside, right foot comes down, left foot comes down, and both feet come down. Bring that back. So let's now roll down on our backs. So you can do that express method since your hands are already tucked there. And just bring your back down to the mat, rolling it down, getting nice and snug in there, and rock back and forth so you can massage your lower back. And sending your arms out at shoulder height, both sides. Exhale, lowering our knees to the right side. Reclined spinal twist. And gently turn our head to the left, look at our left fingertips. And then turn our head back to center. Inhale, bringing our legs back to center. Then exhale, lower our legs to the left side of the mat. And gently turning our head to the right. Looking at our right fingertips. And slowly roll our head back to center. Inhale, lift your legs back to center. And slide your feet to the bottom of the mat and prepare for Shavasana. Sending your feet to the corners of the mat, just let them flop open. Just let your whole body relax and sink into the mat. Take a few deep breaths, inhaling. And on the exhale, just release deeper into the mat. Deep inhale. And deep exhale, release deeper into the mat. Let the nutrients of today's practice soak deep within you. For today's poem, I'd like to read Celebrate the Journey by Danna Faulds. Who knows why life unfolds the way it does? Why we choose one path or another? Share the way for a while or a day, then say goodbye. There is no predictability here, and less control than we might wish. But there is a quiet urging of the heart, the knowing in the soul, the wisdom that's beneath the mind, accessible if we breathe and turn inside. When the tide of change rolls in, we can resist or be at peace, struggle or release. The stuff of life may not be ours to understand. It's enough to offer love, to receive the best and the worst, to embrace and say farewell. What matters most is to celebrate each moment of the journey.